Kapadia grew up in our historical Lawrence School, Lovedale, from 1971 to 1977, and the experience has left an indelible mark upon his persona. After school, he became a marine engineer, and he's worked in this field for over a decade, visiting shipyard after shipyard. In 1995, he reset his path and moved to the United States as a graduate student, pursuing higher studies. For almost 2 decades, he worked as a manager and project leader in the marine and offshore industries. We might be familiar with Deepwater Horizon. In 2014, he altered course once again and became an author and a motivational public speaker. His mission now as a public speaker is to share valuable knowledge, and he believes that everyone in this audience can be an outstanding speaker. He returns to the Nilgiris, the picturesque Blue Hills, after almost 40 years. Welcome back, sir. And today, he will speak to all of you about resilience, standing firm and rock strong in the face of adversity, reflection, when you think deeply about where you are at and where you want to go, and relationships. Each one of you make extremely deep and profound and meaningful relationships over the course of your education in the school here. He wishes he had learned more about these when he was a student here back in the 1970s, before I was even born. Please welcome from the batch of 1977, Old Laurentian, Mr. Rashid Kapadia. Sir.
I welcome this opportunity. With everything inside of me, with every molecule inside of me, I welcome this opportunity to speak to you, the students of our historic school, Lawrence School, Lovedale. A school to which I am deeply indebted for an outstanding education granted to a very few privileged ones. I'm very grateful to Headmistress Chima and to all the staff of Lawrence School, Lovedale, who invited me to be back here. It is an honor for me to be here. For 7 years, 1971 to 1977, Lovedale was home to all my batchmates, to my twin brother, and to me. For 7 years, those hills, this hall, the classrooms, the culture, the dormitories, the playgrounds, they shaped us into who we became. When we joined school, we were young, timid, and frightened. But when we left, we were confident young adults, confident not only in ourselves, but in our batchmates, confident of a loyalty that we would have to one another. Whether we were good friends or not, we always would cover one another. Lovedale is an indelible part of my life. Do you know what indelible means? Anyone? That which cannot be erased. It simply cannot be erased. Lawrence School, Lovedale is known for both tradition and for progress. It's known for strength and for perseverance. And it is known for knowledge as well as extracurricular excellence. And when we were here, we stood in need of all 6. But as you step out into the world, you're going to need these 6 qualities far more than we ever did. So this message, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am very fortunate I have a twin brother. We get along fabulously. And when we were young, we were told, in India we have our own dreams. You can be anything you want as long as it is a doctor or an engineer. We never had the choices you had. So that's what happened. My brother is a top doctor, and I went on to become an engineer. I was in this shipyard, and here, for the first time, I came to appreciate the marvels of engineering. I saw human ingenuity in a way I'd never seen before. And I wanted to be a very good engineer. I sailed on ships for well over 10 years, and then I moved to the United States as a student. I became a project manager. Later, I wrote a book, and I speak today. Even though I'm speaking to you today, I want to be clear about something. This is not me who's speaking to you alone. All of us, the batch of 77, they are right here. They've sat in these halls longer than most of you. And they are joining me in saying what we are saying to you. What I want to talk about is something I wish we were formally taught when we were in school. Formally. To be resilient. To think a lot, to reflect. And to have excellent relationships with everyone. This was never inculcated in us. We learnt it in our own. So, my hope today is that these three words become a part of your daily vocabulary. Was I resilient today? What worked today? What didn't? Reflect. Am I getting along with everyone? That is what my batch wants to say to all of you. So, our 3 R's when we were in school are reading, writing, and arithmetic. We mainly learnt about subjects, physics, chemistry, math. We didn't have the other skills that we want you to cultivate starting today, every day. So here we go. 3 R's. You want to promise me that you'll never forget these words? Resilience, reflection, and excellent relationships. Let's start with resilience. Would anyone like to tell me what resilience means to you? So let's see who can outweigh who. Anyone? Okay. Resilience is our school motto, never give in. When something gets hard, keep trying. Don't give up. If maths is hard, work harder till you get the problem solved. If playing the piano is hard, don't give up. Keep struggling until you get better, and you get better. Put another way, when you're having a bad time, keep going. That's Winston Churchill. He was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. And like all of you, he was a boarding school student. And like me, he came back to his boarding school once and he spoke to the students. And this is part of what he said.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
So here in Lawrence, we've been saying this for much longer than him. And I want it to be a part of who you are every day, and especially once you leave. Everyone has a story. So when you see this slide, I want you to think of your story, because I am going to call on you all to come up and share some of your stories. But to do that, we have to set an example. So a few of my batchmates will share some of their stories as well. So when you see that, just think. Was there a time when I was resilient? What about my parents, or a brother or a sister? Anything you can share with us. Our first story comes from Saz, one of my batchmates. And pay attention carefully, because I want you to do something. That's what she looked like when she was in school. This is what she looks like now. But when you see this, I want you all to pair up. One partner A, another partner 1. Listen carefully to what Saz is saying. And then for 1 minute, I'll have one partner telling the other, this is what I got out of the story. This is how it applies to me. And then next minute, partner 1 will discuss with partner A. Everyone clear? Select a partner, please. Anyone who didn't put their hands up, put your hand up now. All right, ready? You don't have a partner? Okay, here we go. So this is Saz.
Hi, I'm Saz Agarwal. I'm a writer and painter and I live in Pune. I had the privilege of studying at Lawrence School, Lovedale, and from 1971 till 1977, it was home to my batchmates and me. When I think back to my school days, what stands out most is not the quality of education or many other good things, but unhappy memories. Besides the homesickness and the fact that I missed my parents and my home environment, the memories are of people making fun of me and pulling me down. Even something as fundamental as my name was a target. Since South Indian languages don't have a Z sound, people would call me Sauce, tomato sauce. It wasn't just my name, but everything about me that was mocked. One day, one of my seniors looked at me and shuddered and said, "You are the ugliest person I've ever seen." I have lots of such examples, but I'm not trying to get sympathy or retribution. What I want to do is tell you that the unpleasant interactions which caused pain and confusion at the time helped me to become who I am. First, I understood that making fun of other people is a low form of behavior from an evolutionary point of view. Once this becomes clear, you try to stop doing it yourself. And when you see others doing it, you don't judge them, but can try to view them with patience and with compassion. And when you understand power hierarchies, you understand that the higher way from an evolutionary point of view is to try to respect everyone and treat everyone with respect, but to be especially careful to do so when you are the one in power and the other person is weaker or needs you. So that's about behavior choices. The second thing I wanted to tell you about is self-esteem. What happens to a child who faces constant taunts and slights and inferences that they are inferior? Many of us have a defense mechanism which enables us to pretend there's nothing wrong and prevents us from revealing our hurt and humiliation. In the years to come, I was very lucky that I found the strength and resources to work with that sensitive, injured core. Part of the growth was also to remain constantly self-critical, alert for gaps and flaws in my thoughts and behavior and trying to improve them. And gradually that mask of bravado was replaced with a fairly well-grounded inner self. The third and equally important gift from the childhood insults was the understanding of personal identity. Some people are comfortable doing what others do and being part of the herd most of the time, but some want to be just who they are, with no compromises. All of us have differences from what is perceived as a norm or normal or normative, and many times we suppress these differences because it's easier to just do what everyone is doing. In a large and confined group like a joint family or a boarding school, for a child with a stronger need to express individuality, things become complicated. Maybe you're one of those who would rather think for yourself and make your own choices. If you find yourself different from others in some or in many ways, try to understand and accept your difference. I'm not saying you should jump from hating yourself for being perceived as odd or weird to preening at how special you are or thinking that you're better than the others. My point is that you must spend time introspecting. What are the things you enjoy? What are the things you're good at? What are the things that are really important to you? Try to understand yourself and then allow yourself to be who you are. Before I close, I want to also tell you that though my school days were a time of loneliness and isolation, once I left school, I found myself in the midst of a very warm and supportive community, the community of old Laurentians. My unexpected angels have often been old Laurentians who helped or rescued me for no other reason than 3 magic words: Lawrence School, Lovedale. OLs always have a strong bond. We've been part of a world that others would never really understand. Very soon, you are going to be a part of the OL family, and you'll be able to draw on it for support as you go through life, resilient and reflective citizens, committed to lives enriched with excellent relationships. Good luck.
Okay, it's discussion time. Partner A, tell partner 1 what you heard, how it applies to you, and what you learnt. For 1 minute. Your time starts now. Time. All right, partner 1, now you tell partner A what you got out of the message. 1 minute. Time. Okay, so who wants to share? What did you get out of this? Let me tell you what I got out of this. When I started approaching my classmates, I had no idea that they had gone through this at all. And it's not just this, it was the others. So we kept hurt or challenges very much within ourselves. And we learnt on our own. That's part of this talk. We want you to start now. So go ahead, be bold. Tell us, what did you get out of this? You don't have to wait for 30 or 40 years before your batchmate asks you. What did you get out of her talk? Okay, what about you? Give him the mic. He's going to do fine. Give him a round of applause. Yes.
So I felt her experience was more about relationships, and she did not enjoy her time in school much, but then she tried to say that there will be people after school who will be there to comfort you and stand up for you. And it's a pleasure being in the school.
Did you have any such experiences in school?
There are times I get teased, but I don't feel sad. I take it for fun myself.
Okay, anyone else would like to share what you got out of Saz's message? There.
So hardships are necessary for people. It makes you a stronger person.
And it's going to make you stronger?
Yes, sir.
All right. One more. Yes, yeah.
Through the discussion that we saw, I discussed it with my partner, we felt like even though she had faced a lot of hardships, like maybe her batch wasn't there for her then, but for us, we feel like it's a little more different because we're able to empathize with our batch more. But we feel like hardship is necessary to some extent to make you realize and introspect your own personality.
Very good.
Sir, I really feel that what she said was very true. One should never lose their own individuality because that's very important. You should never lose yourself. No matter how hard the world tries to pull you down, you should always know that there's someone right there for you and that you have an identity of your own.
Oh, yeah. Okay, if you stood up and spoke, please stand. And everyone give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
It's such an integral part as we grow up. Surprisingly, it's there till your post-graduation and it always stays. I think I was bullied in school. I was ragged in my BA honors in English. I was ragged in my MBA. The only time I wasn't ragged was when I was using hair color and studying for my doctorate. Because by the time I was doing my PhD, I was too old and everybody stopped bothering me then. But it's, I think there is a difference. I would slightly disagree with people who say that sometimes hardships need to be there, they toughen us up. We can look at it in a different way. We need to be there for each other. In India, we try and toughen you up for a tough world outside. But I would really like it if we all could make the world a kinder place for everybody. Then we wouldn't need to toughen you up so much. And that's where I think relationships, resilience, and empathy also goes a long way. And Tintin comes to mind, and Captain Haddock especially from Scotland, when he says, you hit a wall, you go through it.
Thank you. Okay, so let's summarize. I'm asking you, next topic, your first hand, I'm going to remember you. Let's summarize. From now on, resilience is part of your daily vocabulary. If you're having a tough time, keep going. Never give in, it's part of our school. Message number 1, reflection. Now, when I was in school, we were kind of taught about never give in, but reflection was not on the horizon. I didn't think about it till much later in life. And I wish I had started when I was your age. So what is reflection? Very simply, you ask yourself, go ahead, I agree, let me say that. When you see yourself in the future, you're reflecting. Excellent. So you see yourself in the past as well as how you're seeing yourself in the future? Okay, excellent. But I want to put it down to 2 questions. Start asking yourself regularly what worked and what didn't work. Even something as simple as prep. We used to have prep from 6 to 7. Had I made a plan, 15 minutes for math, 15 minutes for physics, 15 minutes for chemistry, and at the end I asked myself, did I do it? What worked? What didn't work? How can I fine-tune it? And it is surprising that most successful people, very successful people, they are always asking themselves this question, what am I doing that's working? And what am I doing that's not working? Make this part of everything you do. It's think before you act and think after you act. Next step. Again, we didn't have this at all when I was in school. But reach out to others for help. Seek mentors. And I'm from the United States. I'm astonished at how common this is. Many times, a young professional will come to me just straight up and say, will you mentor me? I have a weakness in this. There's a culture of reaching out. And if you interview people who have done well, sooner or later, you'll find somewhere in the background a mentor, someone who guides them. So reflection means think for yourself, but have others to give you feedback to. Seek mentors. Seek people, what worked, what didn't work. You can come to me at the end of this talk and say, this didn't work for me. Seek feedback. Seek what worked from outside. And the third, another surprise. If you pick an accountability partner early in life and keep reporting to that person every day, even if you have an accountability partner for prep, today I'm going to do 4 subjects. And then our partner asks you, did you do all 4? I said, no, I really didn't. I messed up. To do this regularly is a habit. I have an accountability partner even this stage in life. Every day we call each other and say, what did you do? What will you do today? What went wrong? What are you avoiding? People who go for exercises and weight training programs, the most successful ones are where there's a partner. So form this habit of reflect with a partner. Tell your partner what your plan is and report to them, did it work or did it not work? Think deeply. So everyone has a story. Every one of you has had a time when you have reflected. Just think about it and hold it. I'll give you a chance to speak about it. But right now, I have asked my brother, and he's quite a serious, very smart guy. So you have to pay particular attention to what he's saying. He's going to speak to you about what he thinks will be really useful to you. That's me in school, and that's him, long time ago. That's us when we joined. That's us now. Pay attention, because you're going to have to discuss with your partner. What did he say?
Hi guys, a short little message at the request of my brother. We both spent from 1971 to 77 there in Lovedale, and for those years it was like our home, and obviously left a very important impact on us, after which I went to medical college. Medical college consisted of undergraduation, where we spent a fair amount of time in the class and the rest of the day essentially in the library. If I have an abiding memory of medical college, it was a lot of hard work, accumulating and assimilating information. Many people may say they breeze through college, but that's really not true. There is no way one can accumulate large amount of information just by breezing through college. One has to effectively do the hard work of learning it either in the class or in the library. After that, we went to our post-graduation, where more time was spent in the hospital, but once again a large amount of time was spent in the library just learning information. It would be fair to say that 12 hours a day for those 8 to 10 years would have been a normal pattern of life. Then we went to the UK, and that time it was much more working in a hospital, and it was clearly a new experience for me because we became much more independent, but we also had no help compared to what we do in India. It was nice to be financially independent for the first time. We could quickly pick up a house, a car, and stuff like that. And that was a very useful useful phase of my learning. After which we came back to Bombay, and since then I've been a doctor here in Bombay. I practice as a general physician and intensive care. And the field of intensive care was in its infancy when we came back. A group of like-minded people started a society and introduced the modern critical care practices. Over the last 25 years, we have seen this grow and become well established. Over the years of practicing as a doctor, I think one of the things I have learned most is that having a scientific approach to medicine and most other aspects of life is really the smartest way of doing things. It could be simplified in a couple of words or three words, that whenever you hear something, trust it but verify it. It's better not to blindly believe everything you hear. It's better to have a degree of skepticism and doubt, as this will prevent blind belief. Today we live in a world where the word post-truth is used a lot, and this post-truth really cannot exist if people listen carefully and verify in a slightly scientific way what they hear, rather than believe what they're told based on the authority of the person saying it. The whole scientific process is really well described in a 1-minute video from Richard Feynman, which I urge you to see. But the bottom line is, whenever you come up with an idea, realize it's a guess, no matter how smart it appears to be. Try to figure out that if your guess is right, what would you see in the real world, and then see if it matches or not. And if it doesn't match, your guess was wrong. Using this simplified approach for everything, whether it's a politician or whether it's a banker or whether it's a commentator on TV, or will really allow you to make up your own mind about the things around you and the world around you, rather than just simply believe what people tell you. Okay guys, I wish you all the best, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my brother. Thanks.
And I'm going to show you a little video. My brother has done extraordinarily well. And it is because he always follows the scientific evidence. He does not get impressed by titles or by fancy equipment. If someone comes and tells him this is a new medical product, he seeks the evidence, and he is able to get very good results. It's a little hard to get this message, but he said, I need you to convince these kids that this is what they have to do. There's a very famous physicist called Richard Feynman. Have any of you all heard of him? One of the all-time stars of science, physics. And Farad says, everybody must watch this 1-minute video every year, at least once a year, because he tells you what science is all about. If you follow this advice, you will never be fooled by politicians or by masterful salesmen. So let's watch it, pay careful attention, and discuss it with your neighbor. And make yourselves a deal that you'll watch it at least once a year. Richard Feynman.
We discussed how we would look for a new law. In general, we look for a new law by the following process. First, we guess it. Then we well, don't laugh, that's really true. Then we compute the consequences of the guess to see what, if this is right, if this law that we guessed is right, we see what it would imply And then we compare those computation results to nature. Or we say compare to experiment or experience. Compare it directly with observation to see if it works. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. It doesn't make a difference how beautiful your guess is. It doesn't make a difference how smart you are, who made the guess, or what his name is. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. That's all there is to it.
So, did you get what he said? I may be someday president of a big organization. If I come to you and say, acceleration due to gravity is 7 meters per second squared, and you experiment and find it's 9.81, it doesn't matter what I say. Follow the evidence. Make sure your thinking is grounded in science, and you will be able to contribute much better. So he wants to remind you how lucky you are to be in Lovedale.
After I left Lovedale, it really dawned on me as to how much opportunity we had there. And even today, I marvel at the extreme opportunity available for people in the school. We got to play all kinds of sports and we did all kinds of extracurricular stuff. I don't think people realize how lucky you are to have that much opportunity, because when you go out in the world, it really doesn't exist in most places. And it also leaves a big impact. Even now, I carry that legacy of the extracurricular stuff. I regularly participate in marathons and even occasionally in track and field events. I still play my saxophone, which I used to play in the band. I still have the bugle, which I used to play in school. And among my saxophone repertoire is a fair amount of Lovedale stuff, including Laurentia, Never Give In, Abide With Me, Beating the Retreat, Days Done, etc. Make the most of the opportunity you have there, because I have not ever been in any place where there was so much opportunity available since my Lovedale days.
For 1 minute, recap what you heard. I hope you listened carefully. Partner one, hold them accountable if they didn't listen carefully. 1 minute starts now. Time. Partner one, explain to partner A what you heard in the message. Start. Ten seconds. Time. Okay, who wants to share? What did my brother say to you all? Yes, there.
In school, you should grab every opportunity you get so you don't regret it later in life.
Wonderful. Who else? Come on, boys. Yep.
So I understood that you can't believe everyone simply. You should have your own thinking and evidence to believe a person.
That's so important. In fact, I started believing. I would believe the nonsense I was seeing in marketing or in politics. But when we started looking at the evidence, you can very clearly see what is right and what isn't. Excellent. Someone else? Anyone's got your own personal reflection story? About a time when you reflected and it worked out very well? How about any of the teachers? Okay, I want to tell you my all-time favorite reflection story. How many of you have heard of Nelson Mandela? Okay. Okay. He spent a lot of time in jail. And then he went on to become the president of his country. And one day, he came home and he told his wife, "You know, I miss jail." She said, "What?" He said, "No, in jail, every evening I had lots of quiet time. And I would think and I would plan." And he built the future of South Africa on that. And if you don't believe me, I want you to listen to his wife saying it, how he came to her and told her.
Mandela once joked that with all the demands on his time now, all the people who insist on seeing him, all the things he's required to do, that he feels like he's in prison again and his staff have become his guards.
That is true. Let me share with you one of the things which shocked me one day. He says to me, "You know, I miss jail." I said, "What? How can you say you miss jail?" He said, "No, I miss the quiet time where I could sit down and think." Because he could be alone, particularly in the evening, and he could be with himself until the early hours of the night, he would have the opportunity to process all the issues which were of a deep concern to him. When he became head of state, and even after retiring, the pressure of responding to demand was so high that he missed that time of being with himself.
Will you, like him, block out some time every day and just think, what am I doing? Is what I'm working? Make reflection, thinking deeply, a part of your routine starting now. You'll do better in college. You'll do better at work. Even if you're in sports or music and you just reflect, what worked, what didn't work. It's a way to go. Let's sum up. Reflection, what worked, what didn't work. You're not alone. Seek out mentors. Be a mentor to someone. And have an accountability partner. Okay? Number 3, relationships. This is something I had no clue about till much later in life, how important they were. But scientific study after scientific study will reach one conclusion. Anyone who's exceptionally happy has excellent relationships. And even as I look back to my school days, and I had a wonderful time. Sure, we got bullied and kicked around and all that. But I can say this with confidence. If I didn't have good relationships with those few really tight friends of mine, I wouldn't have had good memories of school. Sure, we have outstanding facilities, but what makes it all worthwhile is that we have good relationships within those facilities. Good relationships are amongst the greatest gift you can ever give yourself, not only with people you like, but also with people that you don't like. And my brother talks of science, so here's a study. Started after World War II. They took some of the top students from Harvard and some from the slums. And for every year, they kept asking them, what's happening in your life? And they collected data. What's happening? What's working? What's not working? Are you happy? Are you unhappy? This is the highest data collection that we have ever on a study of what makes people happy. And in this TED Talk, he says it comes down to one thing. The clearest message from the data is that people who have got good relationships are happy and they have health. He even said, if we asked them a few questions at the age of 50, we could predict whether they would be healthy or ill in their 80s. Having good relationships is the secret sauce to doing well. So have good relationships with every single person in this school. Senior, juniors, batchmates, staff, everyone. Work on it. It'll be the biggest favor you can do yourself. So, one more of my batchmates wants to tell you about how relationships carried him through school. His name? No, this is Lata. This is her story. You have to pay attention. because you're going to discuss this with each other. Partner A, partner 1, 1 minute each. Listen carefully to what Lata says and tell it to your partners.
Hello, fellow Lawrencians. I am Lata. I was a student at Lovedale from 1972 to 1977. After school, I chose a career in dairy technology. I've been very successful at my career. I am the head of the Dairy Technology Department at the National Dairy Research Institute at Karnal in Haryana. Looking back today, I always think of the years I spent in school as the best years of my life. But that was not so in the beginning. I'd like to reflect back to some challenges that I faced in school and how relationships and resilience helped me tide over them. I joined school as a merit scholar. This made me different in many ways from the other students. My family was nowhere near as well off as majority of the students who came to school. My English was very limited. The conversation and lifestyle of my English-speaking friends was a total shock to me. I lacked the expected social graces. Too often I was teased and put down for my poor English and for my very heavy Malayalam accent. It was particularly humiliating when my juniors mocked me. Hats off to my friends, to my batchmates, both in class as well as in the girls' school dormitories. Not once was I troubled by any of them. I remember distinctly that Claire came to my rescue several times. She was there to help me when someone laughed at me at my difficulty with the school uniform tie. She helped me with my fork and spoon at the dining table. She helped me settle down by simply talking to me. In 1972, in my first year in school, we had 2 ladies from Britain who taught us English. I never understood a word they said. They used to call me to their rooms in the girls' school to teach me or to talk to me and to coach me. Despite this, I failed in English in the first term. That was my only ever failure in academics. It broke me completely. I vowed to myself that this will never happen again. I started to read all that I could get hold of. Claire and Saz helped me a lot. They suggested library books to me. My choice of books was very elementary, and this gave rise to even more teasing. This made me hide the books behind my textbooks in the beginning, which got me yet another unkind name for being the studious type. I eventually got used to the teasing, and to my surprise, started to ignore it completely soon. The experience toughened me and helped me to tide over many difficult situations with ease. Having adjusted with schoolmates, both girls and boys, from very different and alien backgrounds, has stood me in good stead in my later life. I'm forever grateful to my friends, Saz, Claire, and several like them, for our good relationships. I know and value the importance of good relationships better than most. To the students of Lawrence School Lovedale, I have this message. Develop excellent relationships and strive to maintain them. If you can manage this, then decades later, your batchmates will remember you with affection and will thank you for your kindness. All the very best to all of you for whatever you choose to do in your life. A very happy New Year to you. Thank you very much, Rashid, for giving me this opportunity to talk to them. Thank you.
Okay, partner A, 1 minute. Time. Partner 1, start. Time. Okay, who wants to go first? What did you get out of Lata's talk? Didn't understand it? Okay. You, what did you get out of her talk?
I think that you need good relationships, so people help you when you go through your tough times, and they support you and they give you solutions to go, like, pass through those tough times of your life.
So she was very lucky that she had friends. Are you
So that-
friend?
Huh?
Will you be friends to others who are suffering as well?
Think that, you know, the minutest of bonds we form right now are going to seem like a big deal when we grow up and are out of school. Because, not because you were close to them, because just because they were part of something you really treasured.
Very good. Thank you.
I think friendship counts a lot because friends are going to be there for you no matter what. And I know we've all had our ups and downs with each other, but by the end of the day, if it were me, I wouldn't give these people up for anything in the world.
There was someone there?
Two things. First of all, friends play a very important role in your life. I think my batch, I treat them not like my friends, but they are my family. They mean a lot to me. And also, failures are very important in one's life because they definitely do break you, but by the end of it, you come out stronger and much better.
Wonderful.
People may let you down, but a batch will never.
All right, out there.
It's always okay to reach out for help, and it's also important to notice the ones who need help and to help them.
Oh, very good.
See, the thing is, people will tease you and they'll judge you all the time. I've been teased for my Malu accent more than once. But I think that's how I know that my friends care for me and that they're fond of me.
Very good.
Hardships and teasing always happens in a boarding school, but relations will always keep you happy. You should always have friends.
Just calm down. Now, like him, I didn't quite get what you said. Say it again slowly, please.
Relationships and teasing always happens in a boarding school, but friendships will always keep you happy. You should always have good friends to keep yourself happy.
Okay, very good.
So we should not let anyone let us down, and we should be confident so that we be successful in life.
Yes, and you will be more confident and more successful if you have good relationships.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think friends help you overcome your difficulties, and it's mainly about perseverance.
Okay.
Give it back. Like this now.
There. Oh, we got someone here?
Failure is the first step to success.
Sorry?
Failure is the first step to success.
One more time, slowly.
Failure is the first step to success.
Okay, very good. About a very famous rugby game. And there the author makes two observations. This man was probably the most successful leader in my lifetime. And the author says, probably on this planet, there was never a person with as much skill to make friends and to influence people. And where did that confidence come from? So here's something I want you to consider, that you can do it like him. He said, whoever I meet, friend, enemy, old, young, I am confident that I will find something to like inside of you. And I am confident you will find something to like inside of me. This was his secret. I am 100% sure there is something likable in you, and I will find it. I am 100% sure there's something likable in me, and you will see it. This is the secret to good relationships, to look for what is likable in others, and this is what he did in a lifetime. And the success he had as a leader is one that belongs to the ages. So let's sum up. 3 words that must be part of your daily vocabulary. Resilience, never give in. If you're going through a bad time, keep going. Reflection, what worked? What didn't work? Do I need a mentor? Have I got a partner? Relationships, the secret sauce to doing well in everything as shown to us by science. I'm going to glass one last story from one of my batchmates, and then we move on to another topic. So this is Sriram, a very successful doctor in the United Kingdom. That's what he looked like when he was in school. And here he was last year, Mrs. Chima? Yes, he's back here with his brother last year.
Lawrence School, Lovedale, the home of our school days. Certainly was my home between 1970 and 77. And with my batch of 77, we would say it has formed an indelible part of our past, has certainly shaped my present, and will continue to influence my future. Now, 40 years on, a successful doctor in the United Kingdom, looking back, this is my story. In medical school at 17, a doctor at 21, Lawrence really didn't prepare me for what life threw at me. Reservations cast, the like. Traveling the length and breadth of the country, I wasn't able to secure a postgraduate medical seat. This brought me to the United Kingdom. With little money in my pocket, just dreams and hope. This is where Lawrence, the indoctrined, never given in my veins, helped me to succeed. I passed all my exams without a problem, where only 5 to 10% was pass rate was the norm. I succeeded in all my interviews, and from there was no looking back. I'd like to share 2 stories with you. One about relationships, and the other about resilience. Now, Rashid and I used to sit in the first row in physics class. Now that, in my children's words, would be classified as nerd or geek. Yes, I was a nerd, I was a geek, I was the shortest in the class, subject to ridicule, bullying, and mockery, but I did not let that pull me down. I did not let that pull me down. I strove hard, worked hard to do well in academics, in athletics, in games, in sculpture, in music. I tried to be the best. This helped me to succeed. Now, here's a story for you. As a 9-year-old boy in Kapadia house in prep school, I had a little 8-year-old in the next bed. He was very sad and homesick and didn't want to come back. And come back he did. He finished school, went on to have a successful career, and he's spending his retirement for the upliftment of Lawrence. This little 8-year-old is none other than Joseph John, who we fondly call Jojo. Now, this was the letter he sent to my brother a year ago. He says, Sriram and I go back 45 years. I joined Kapadia house as an 8-year-old boy in February 1970. I was kit number 172, he says, and Sriram was 170. Our beds were next to each other. My parents were thousands of miles away in Africa. I do not remember all the details. But one thing I do remember, that one of the reasons I stayed back was because Sriram was good and kind to me. You can see my head glow, can't you? I can't even remember this. But it has made a difference for somebody else's life. And that's what good relationships are all about. I too have some bad memories of school. But I've put it behind me. There have been episodes of bullying. I had a conversation with a classmate of mine who's a successful person in the United States. And he had some bad memories of school and he didn't want anything to do with school, reunions, the like. That shouldn't really never happen, should it? We should be nice to everybody, your teachers, your seniors, your classmates, and especially your juniors. Having excellent relationships is the way to go. And treating people well is the way to go. Now my second story is about resilience. Sometimes I too was lonely and miserable. War broke out in 1971. I spent the winter holidays in bunkers, in blackouts, in sirens, and plane attacks. Traveling back from school, this is what Sudip, my batch of 77, wrote about me. Sriram, Sudip writes, he would travel with us on the Delhi batch. And after the 71 war, Sriram returned with us playing a banjo-like instrument called the Bulbul Tara throughout the journey. He had never done too much of music before this, but I guess he had to stay in the dark trenches near his home for interminable periods of time during the war, and he used this opportunity to learn this instrument. He became a star instrumentalist in the Indian orchestra. I'm sure the Pakistanis decided to give Pathankot a miss too after they heard that he was learning to play this instrument, and the Indian soldiers quickly went on to the front line to stay away from the caterwauling that there was. Sriram playing the Bulbul Tara. This wonderful part of Lovedale was that what we often didn't even know the issues that affected some. We lived in Eden-like milieu, where we were cut off from the grimly reality of life. Now Lawrence taught me about relationships and resilience. Therefore, I wish to share these stories with you. We want you to carry the banner of Lawrence to great heights, remembering the motto, never give in. Remember, resilience and good relationships is the way to go. Never give in.
Here's what I want to say. I won't have you discuss it. I'll tell you what I got out of this. That in 6th standard in 71, had Sriram not been nice to his neighbor, Jojo might not have been in school today. And it was war. You all haven't seen this. He's alone in bunkers, God knows what he's going through, and he learns how to play an instrument. And he becomes very good. Resilience. Lovedale is full of these stories, and you all have to write the next chapter. Are we going to bypass the discussion? Anyone wants to make a comment on what you heard? All right, now I want to tell you something about the way my father raised me. I have no recollection of my father ever raising his voice with me. I have no recollection of him treating me like I'm an idiot. He always treated me like I'm an adult. He explained things to me. And I did the same with my son. Fortunately, he's doing very well. And for this next chapter, I'm asking you if I can treat you like adults. Just straight out adult to adult talk. You all are grown up. You all will be leaving school soon, 2 years. So I'm asking you explicitly for your permission. What follows now? Can I treat you like an adult, and can I expect you to respond to me like an adult? Yes? Okay. I want to discuss bullying in Lovedale. I had no intention of talking about this. When Mrs. Chima asked me, I just thought, what is it that I wish I had learnt in school? And this is it. I wish from day one I had thought, what am I doing? Am I having good relationships? On December 2nd, we had an old Laurentian get-together in Bombay. I went and met many of the younger ones. Met someone called Sherbir Penang, and I just asked him, I'm going to be speaking in school. What is it that would make school better? What is the one thing that should change? And without any hesitation, he said, bullying must stop. What we went through in school was terrible. He told me a few stories, and then I said, Shabir, you stop. Because this is a party, I want to talk at length with you. He agreed. We met later. It was supposed to be lunch. It went on for 3 hours. And the stories he told me, I couldn't believe them. Cruelty, beating each other up with hockey sticks, breaking legs. And then tradition, nonsense. That never happened in my time. It's not tradition. Tradition is something that goes on. It did not happen in my time. Yes, there was bullying. Yes, there was skinning ups. Yes, there was a little bit of ragging. But cruelty, just stark, open, entitled cruelty, it did not happen in my time. So there was a problem. And I said, what should happen? He said, you, Rashid, and I, we both want Lawrence School, Lovedale, to be the best school on planet Earth. We are in full agreement. We want your school, my school, Headmistress's school, to be the #1 school on planet Earth. And that will never happen if there is bullying. I agree. Here he is. He was a head boy. He made a lot of efforts to control it. He failed many times. He told me about them. He's written articles on it. He's a leading lawyer today. He's doing very well. He has his own company. He's got employees. He goes all over the place talking about governance. Here he is. He's a famous public speaker. And I listened carefully. And this is not a problem that we should ignore or we should sweep under the rug. Now, I don't know whether it's going on or not. And I know it will take me a lot of effort to find out. So I'm going to presume there may be some going on. I hope there isn't. But in case it is going on, that's what this conversation is about. And I invite you, I seriously invite you to speak your mind. If you say something, if I say something you don't agree with, please stand up and challenge me. There is no reason why we can't have an excellent discussion. We are equals in this discussion. This is what bullying looks like. I can tell you I have been there, I have been here, and I have been here in this school. I was sent to hospital once, but that was my own batchmates and we got into a fight. But I've been there. I have done this. I know I've done this. Probably some of you all have. Have any of you all been on either side? Come on, guys. If you have, let's face it. The girls always say no, and I think I agree with you. But the boys are silent, and I was there. No beating? Okay, good. Let's take it up. I used to be here sometimes. I remember sitting alone in a classroom, no friends, and I would be reading letters from home. And this cannot be part of our school. So here's the case I'm going to make. Let me tell you 2 stories, actually. One, 9th class, we didn't have much to do. I couldn't stand up to our seniors. 10th, my batchmates and us, we'd get into fights, we'd bully each other a little bit. In 11th, it got particularly bad. A few guys were giving us a bad time. One of my friends, lifelong friend, he said, come on, let's just take these guys on. I said, no. They're too big, they're too tight. No, let's just take them on. So I said, okay. And we went and we confronted the bullies. And guess what happened? There was no fight. They backed down. People who tend to be bullies are also cowards. Let me tell you another one. This was in the shipyard. I'd been there about 3 months, and some of my seniors started, "Apprentice, come here." Around this time, a few of my friends decided we've had enough, we're not going to take it. "Apprentice, come here." I stood still. "I'm just telling you, you better come here." I put my hands in my pockets. "Take your hands out of your pockets." I put them more in. They all started coming towards me. My friends started gathering around me. I remember, let the chips fall where they may. I'm not going to take this. Nothing happened. One person, it took me about a year to become friends with him. The rest of us, we became friends. This happens. It is necessary to stand up to bullying too. I agree with this, but I think there's more. I think some of us bully just because everyone else is bullying. We don't even know what we're doing. And that's probably what I did. When I heard someone mocking Saz, mocking Lata, I'll tell you what my first thought was. I hope I didn't do this with others, but I very well may have. I don't even know. So there's more to it. So here's the challenge that I have for you. Just, if you see it, it must end. If you see it, it must end. You will have all the support in the world you need, but you have to decide. If it's going on, it must end. Speak up, stand up. And I want to make a point. Some people will say tradition, and yes, I don't want to argue. I'll just tell you this, it belongs to the past. A long time in the past, women were not educated. It belongs to the past. A long time ago, women couldn't vote. It belongs to the past. Bullying similarly belongs to the past. A long time ago, education was the privilege of only a few rich people. That belongs to the past. Bullying belongs to the past. So, don't be a bully. And that's the easy part. And don't let anyone bully you. That's harder. That's my message to you. Stand up. You'll find most often they are cowards. Most often, it's very easy to become friends after that. So what can you do if the urge to bully you comes along? I'll give you some better options. Be a leader. If you find yourself in a situation where you're going to bully someone, may not be in school, maybe later in life, ask yourself, is this what I need to do, or shall I be a leader? Being a leader is a better option than being a bully. It's harder, and that's what we expect from you. Set an example. Set an example. Be a mentor. If you want someone to do better, don't bully them, mentor them. And continue to set high standards. 4 options that are always available to you in a situation. If you feel that bullying is necessary to accomplish something, you have better options. So what is a leader? It's what we want from everyone in our school. First you learn, then you do, then you show. This should be your code of conduct. A senior at Lovedale knows the way, goes the way, and then shows the way. Bullying is no part of this. We want you to be a leader. Everyone, no exception in this room. No girls, no boys, no old, no poor, no rich. You have no exception. We expect you to be a leader. You are students of a very great school. Don't be a bully. Be a friend. And this is not just physical. This could be psychological too, like Lata and Saz said. Be a friend. Have good relationships. Here's another example. That's what leaders do. Have affection. Lead with affection, not with cruelty. A senior at Lawrence who goes out into the world, leads human beings with affection. This is my challenge to you. This is the challenge of all my batchmates to you. Be that person. Set an example. He's probably the smartest person in my lifetime, and maybe for the full century. Good enough for him, good enough for me, good enough for you. Instead of bullying someone, instead of mocking them, be an example. There's no place for bullying in the future, and certainly not in our school. Be a mentor. If you see someone in trouble, be a mentor. If you see someone suffering, be a mentor. It's going on in school right now. Be a mentor. Lead people with affection. And then raise the bar. We can be better. We can do math better. We can do sports better. We can play music better. We can get better grades. Keep raising the bar. Keep raising the bar. You are seniors at Lovedale. Be the best version of who you can be. And the best version is never someone who is a bully or who gets bullied. Be the best version of yourself. I want to show you a video of what leadership looks like that you can model yourselves on. Leadership that inspires.
Francois, what is your philosophy on leadership? How do you inspire your team to do their best?
By example. I've always thought to lead by example, sir.
Well, that is right. That is exactly right. But how to get them to be better than they think they can be? That is very difficult, I find. Inspiration, perhaps. How do we inspire ourselves to greatness when nothing less will do? How do we inspire everyone around us? I sometimes think it is by using the work of others. On Robben Island, when things got very bad, I found inspiration in a poem.
A poem?
A Victorian poem. Just words, but they helped me to stand when all I wanted to do was to lie down. But you didn't come all this way to hear an old man talk about things that make no sense.
No, please, Mr. President. It makes complete sense to me. On the day of a big match, say a test, in the bus on the way to the stadium, nobody talks.
Ah, yes. They're all preparing.
Right. But when I think we're ready, I have the bus driver put on a song. Something I've chosen, one we all know. And we listen to the words together. And it helps.
I remember when I was invited to the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona. Everybody in the stadium greeted me with a song. At the time, the future, our future, seemed very bleak. But to hear that song in the voices of people from all over our planet made me proud to be South African. It inspired me to come home and do better. It allowed me to expect more of myself.
May I ask, what was the song, sir?
Well, it was in Posisikilele, Africa. A very inspiring song. We need inspiration, Francois, because in order to build our nation, we must all exceed our own expectations.
To be an inspiring person so that everyone around you exceeds their own expectations. That's a challenge for you. That is what we want Lawrence to make of you. That is, we want you to make of each other, not just your batchmates, everyone around you. If you right now are not inspiring everyone around them to be their best, you are not living the best version of yourself. This is a challenge. Bullying is easy. Being a leader is hard. And the best work in life comes when we do the hard work. We choose. If you choose, if it's going on, if you choose to eradicate bullying, you do so because it is hard, not because it is easy. Because being a leader is hard. Because being an example is hard. Because raising the bar is hard. And bullying, that's easy when someone doesn't fight back. So that's our challenge to you. And that, I honestly think, is the challenge for this generation of Laurentians. For 150 years, bullying has been a part of our school. Only one generation, and it should be you, will put an end to it once and for all. It is the past. Only one generation. This is not only a challenge for you all, it is an opportunity. And great moments and great results, they come from great opportunities and great challenges. This, if it's going on, must stop. This is the challenge of your generation. Not just for you, but you have to train your juniors so that it is no part of Lovedale. It belongs to the past. Be able to stand up to bullies, and don't be a bully. That's the past. That's the future. We don't want this in Lovedale. We don't want this in your future. We want you to lead people with affection, to inspire them to exceed their own expectations. And bullies never do that. So, students of Lawrence School, Lovedale, come on, I want to have a discussion with you. Is what I'm saying making sense? Is this a challenge that's worth accepting?
Bullying anymore, like.
Okay, but
it's
then...
not there, it's really not there.
Excellent, but the task is to make sure that you train your juniors in such a way that it is gone away forever. What about separation between batches? Does the 11th class sit separately, 10th class sit separately? Okay, so mingle a little bit more. Mingle a little bit more. We want to be the best school. I know I'm good, but I don't think I'm that good. Any comments? Any thoughts? Challenge accepted? If it's over, I want to move on to my last topic. I want you to see the world as your playground, not just India. I want you to start thinking that you can go to any college in the world that you choose. And since I'm in the US, and my son's in the US, I've asked him, he's a professor, I've asked him, say something to the students of Lawrence School, those who want to go abroad, those who want to get to the best universities, what should they know? He speaks a lot, he's a scientist, and this is what he wants you to know. We have to discuss it a little bit.
Hi all, I'm a professor at the University of Southern California over in California in the United States, and I'm doing this video at my dad's request to kind of give you an idea of what it takes to get into a top-tier university in the US. Now, I've been, I've been in universities for a long time, and I understand and I know what admissions committees are looking for across the entire spectrum of candidates. And, for those of you who are interested in going abroad, the US universities look for two things. First thing they look for is, can the students do the work? The second thing they look for is, how is this student unique and exceptional compared to all the other applicants? Now, doing the work comes down to just making sure that you have good grades in school. Because if you have good grades in school, then probably you're going to be able to have good grades at the university as well. That's what admissions committees look for. You know, make sure you're doing well in your classes consistently. Now, the second thing is a little bit harder, right? How do you set yourself apart from others? How do you show the university that you are actually exceptional? Well, that comes from what you do outside of pure schoolwork. Now, that means something like being really good at sports, being really good at music, being really good at leadership. You know, all of these different things give you an opportunity to set yourself apart from others. And so it's not about doing 10 different things and doing them poorly, being mediocre at them, but instead it's about choosing 1 or 2 activities outside of work and being really excellent, trying to get to the point that you have created something of worth to those around you, or you have created something of value to a certain group of people. Now, leadership is especially important, and so people who start clubs or people who really go beyond and kind of organize others to do something is always viewed positively. And you know, it's organizing not by bullying people, not by you know, strong arming people, but really by inspiring those around you. And so, you know, just to recap, there's 2 things that you need to do if you want to get into a top tier U.S. institution. The first thing is you got to make sure you get good grades. And you got to make sure you continuously get good grades. That's just how it is. You know, if you can't do the work in high school, you're not going to be able to do the work in college. The second thing is that you need to make sure that you have something that sets you apart, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's leadership, something. You choose it and you do well at it. And you know, that's all I have. You know, if you have any questions for me, just feel free to ask my dad, and I'm sure he can put us in contact. So I wish you all the best of luck, and bye-bye.
So let me sum this up. Whether you go abroad or here, there are no shortcuts when it comes to doing well in your studies. You have to do the work. You have to show that you can do college work. But then you have to show that you are also unique, that you can create something of value. And that's what I want to open up to you now. I want you, some of you all, many of you all, and yesterday we had a lot of the kids doing it. What makes you unique? I love to read from lots of places and convert it into an interesting speech. That makes me unique. What makes you unique? Who's going to go first? What makes you unique? Teachers, you all are welcome to participate too. What makes you unique? Who's going first? What makes you unique? Come on, every one of you is unique and special. Why don't you share that with us? What makes you unique?
So I can initiate conversation with absolutely anyone.
Wonderful.
Every day for about a week, every month, I sum up my day into one sentence, put these sentences together and make an article.
Tell me what you did yesterday in one sentence.
Yesterday would be, I showed courage.
Excellent. That's reflection. Congratulations. Here. First
sense of humor.
I'm sorry?
Sense of humor.
Sense of humor. All right. We want to see you making movies.
Your culture. 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 Thank you.
What did he say?
Culture. 1, 3. So culture.
Culture, okay. Okay, let's expand the field a little bit. If you know one of your batchmates is unique with some strength, you can acknowledge that batchmate. There we go. Pass the mic, green shirt.
Kunal's lameness.
Slowly, again.
Kunal's lameness. Lameness.
Okay.
He lacks sense of humor.
There we go, yeah. And you can say something about your friends too.
Kanya can
Something
speak
nice.
so much, she just never stops.
I'd like to talk about Rahul. I don't know if he's here. He's like absolutely the nicest person you've ever met. He's a gentleman amongst others. Yeah. Rahul, I don't know where he is.
Who here is a good speaker?
One can
Say again.
Naman can study. Naman Agrawal can study well.
You make a commitment that these three words will be part of your vocabulary, and you become good at them, and you stay good at them. You combine them with knowledge. I want you to become good at one more thing. We call it rhetoric, public speaking. To be able to persuade. You may have excellent knowledge in science, but if you can't communicate it, it doesn't help. There are 4 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, and rhetoric. I want you to think about this like exercising, like sleeping well, like eating healthy. The ability to speak well publicly is a core skill I want you to commit to. And here's something you should know. However important you think it is today, it is going to be more important tomorrow. So says Chris Anderson, who's the leader of TED, an organization where talks are heard more than 1 billion times a year. We know that this is a new way of spreading knowledge through effective public speaking in a theater. I want you to commit to public speaking excellence. And this gives us 7 hours. And this will make you a rounded person who will do well wherever you go. And once you have acquired all these skills, what do you do? What do you do with them? What should you focus on? Doing well, winning prizes? Yes. But this above all, focus on using them to make a contribution. Wherever you go, what am I contributing? Put some pressure on yourself to make a contribution every day to your friends, to your country, to humanity. Make a contribution. You will be prepared with these 7 hours to make a lot of contribution. This then is the message from the batch of 77 to all of you. Challenge yourself to make this school the best on the planet. 7 hours to prepare yourself for anything that life throws you, and use that to make a contribution. And if you do this, you will be shining star ambassadors for your families, and you will be a shining star ambassador for yourself. You will be the best you can be, and you will be a shining star ambassador for Lawrence School, Lovedale. From the batch of 77, we have high expectations from you, and we wish you the very, very best in the world. Thank you.
I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Mr. Rashid Kapadia for sharing his invaluable insights with us. We are indebted to Sir for taking the time out from his extremely busy schedule to inspire us today. From the basics, 3 hours of reading, writing and arithmetic, Sir helped us build the necessary bridges towards resilience, reflection, relationships and rhetoric. Sir's talk has kindled in us the desire to apply his wisdom, and it would stand us in very good stead indeed. I would like to thank sir once again for being with us today. Thank you.